Now to implement the me endpoint, or the endpoint that returns the currently authenticated user, we're just going to create a controller for it. So PHP artisan make controller. I'll put that in the auth folder and I'll call it me controller. And over in our API routes file, we are going to create a route group which will be meant for authenticated requests. Okay, so middleware auth sanctum. And this is a middleware that comes with this Laravel sanctum package. It means that any route we place inside this group will require authentication. And we just say group function. And the first thing we want to do here is create a route to get the currently authenticated user. And I'm going to call that route me. And this will be in the me controller. And because this controller is going to have just one method, I'm going to just put it in the invoke function here. So let's go over to the controller and we do public function invoke. And all we have to do here is return a user resource, so an instance of the currently authenticated user. So user resource make, and we pass through the authenticated user. And that's all we need to do here. So if a user is not authenticated, they'll receive an unauthenticated error when they try to access this route. And if they are authenticated, then we will return the currently authenticated user. So over here in our controller, or in Postman, let's try out that route, which is auth me. And if you look at what we are doing here, we are setting the authenticated or the authentication header to the token that we set when we log the user in. In fact, if I get this header out and I don't send anything, let's try and access that route. And we do have a spelling error in our routes file. So let's go back here, and instead of middle, I'm omitting an E here. All right, so that should be good. Let's go back and try to get the user. And we do get the message that says unauthenticated. That's because we are not sending any token with the request, okay? But if I come here and I put in the token, which we know is set in the environment when the user logs in using this test action, then I can send that request again and we receive the currently authenticated user. So any route that requires authentication, we will be passing through that token value with the request, and Laravel will use that to resolve the authenticated user, and that's how we get the information in the front end. Of course, for now, again, we are passing this in the headers, but when we implement our front end in Nuxt, we will see how to do this using cookies, the HTTP only cookies, without the need to manually enter it in the headers.